Hello, my name is Lisa Doe. I'm a family law attorney at Beresford booth. Today, I'm joined by Laurie Klein of Kaizen Financial Advisors in Kirkland. Laurie is a certified financial planner and chartered financial consultant. She provides a variety of financial services, but in this webinar, we will be focusing on services she provides for clients going through a divorce. Laurie, thank you for joining me today, and I'm excited to talk to you. We have worked together in multiple divorce cases, so I know that she brings a lot of value to our clients. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure, I'd love to, and thanks for having me on as a guest. And I've enjoyed working with Lisa over the past 5 or 10 years now. So a little bit about myself. I actually graduated as an accounting economics major and worked at a manufacturing company for about 10 years. And my girlfriend, met her in San Francisco, and she said, you should become a financial advisor. You'd be really great at it with your finance accounting background. And I was also a soccer player and soccer coach. And she's like, you're a great coach and you can combine those two personality traits and you'd make a great advisor. And I went, okay. So I did some interviewing and some soul searching, and then made my foray into the business. I worked at a large brokerage house for several years and realized that while the training was great, probably not the best fit for me in terms of really wanting to be a fiduciary for my clients. So then I moved into what they call the independent world, or registered investment advisor, where we really just get paid on our advice instead of selling products to clients. So I've been doing that now for 24 years total. I started my own firm 14 years ago when I said, I think I can do this. And that was always my goal in the long term, was to be, I'm a driver and an entrepreneur. And so it was kind of cool starting my own business. So been doing that here in Kirkland now, and then my office started in Bellevue.
I can't believe we've known each other for that many years and have worked together.
It's really hard to believe, time flies.
It sure does.
Yeah.
So Laurie, can you tell us, like, what services do you provide specifically for clients going through a divorce?
Sure. So the services that I provide to all clients is wealth management, right? Like a lot of times people come to me and the reason is investments. But we do everything from behavioral coaching to retirement planning to college planning. So in the divorce realm, I think it really starts with, what do you have, right? Because a lot of people don't know their net worth. They don't know the asset side of their balance sheet. They don't know the liability side of their balance sheet. A lot of times there's investments all over the place. So getting a clear picture on what you have and what you owe makes a lot of sense. And then from there, listening to clients and trying to find out what they're trying to accomplish with their wealth. And then will take us down what makes the most sense in terms of the division of assets between the two parties.
And I know you really help clients. Depending on the client, they may not know the extent, like you said, of their assets, of their accounts. And I feel like you add a lot of value in terms of weighing in on what the best options are for dividing property
Sure.
between spouses. So I know you really supplement and enhance the legal advice I give to my clients, and your focus is on finances, and then also a step further, which I don't really focus on, which is future financial planning after the divorce and moving forward. And I know you've brought a lot of, you've added value or provided a lot of help with like certain complicated assets or assets that are unusual, that an attorney may not be familiar with, or that may not come up
Sure.
often in cases. And I know you've really been good at looking at what option is best in terms of being awarded it now. Like, for example, cash may be better, or perhaps they're okay taking retirement funds, but just looking at things big picture rather than, and sometimes with the emotion and the stress that comes with the
Yeah.
divorce, clients may not be able to see the big picture. So I've noticed that you're really good at helping um, party clients focus on that. And then I know you've done some forecasting of future income that's generated by investments. Can you talk a
Sure.
little bit about that?
Yeah, so going back to some of the comments that you made, so thank you for those nice comments. But I think a lot of times is there's an imbalance in a relationship, right? Where one party does a majority of the finances and the other party doesn't, so that one party doesn't understand a lot of the financial language or how that impacts them. So that to me is an imbalance and something that needs to be equaled out. Also, you made a really good point about maybe what you're feeling is best for you is not the best thing for an individual longer term, or vice versa. Sometimes it's in the mutual benefit of the parties. When are we filing the divorce? Because maybe you can sign a separation agreement, but you want to file taxes together in a given year. We worked on that together. Or maybe we want to preserve the exemption as a married party because they're going to not sell the house this year, but maybe in a year or two. So there's a lot of things that most people just, they're not dealing with that every day, like I have for the last 24 years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the most part. And we just see a lot. And so we have a lot of wisdom and experience to bring to the table. And then there's also the piece that was your question, which is, how does this impact the rest of my life? So will I be able to retire on the money that my part of the portion of the community property? Or what does that look like? So, is it better to have a pension, guaranteed income, or is it better to have a part of a 401k and a quadro for some liquidity? Or maybe I want a little bit of both. So really taking a look at those assets and understanding what the client's trying to accomplish and who they are and what their future will look like, because it may be different than the past, right? Maybe you have a spouse or one of the parties who wasn't working who has to go back to work. So that makes a lot of sense. So not just the here and now, but like you said, Lisa, it could be 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We want to make sure those assets are there and they can be comfortable in their retirement years, if that's possible, if they have enough wealth.
And I know you can get really into the nuts and bolts, the details, which, I as an attorney or another attorney may not do, because we're just looking at what's here to divide. And you're really looking in terms of the future. And I love how you said, clients may feel like something is beneficial or good right now, but that may not be true when you're looking at the numbers and you get into the details and you're looking at long-term planning. So it's really beneficial to have someone looking at all of that.
Well, I agree. And like I had one case where we had a husband, or in this case, a husband, but it could be their party trying to hide some assets. But because I knew his work history, I knew that he probably had some different assets out there that we were able to discover. So, I mean, it's just makes a lot of sense from the emotional standpoint, but also just from the financial standpoint to have somebody who's unbiased, who has somebody who has experience, take a look at that balance sheet and say, does this make sense? The tax return is also very good for us. We can take a look at that and say, something doesn't smell right. Maybe we need to do a little more inquiry in some of these different areas. So we've, run into situations where we maybe had spouses that were signing their other spouse's signature and taking money out. And we can track all of that, but we need to be able to take a look essentially forensics, right? Hopefully we don't, it's very clear and easy, but a lot of times it isn't. And so you just want to have a second party, an unbiased party, take a look at that and make sure that what's coming to the table is actually what the assets that the person has. And you
So
could probably speak to that more than I can, but in the cases that I've worked on, there's always something going on. And it's really easy to neglect to report some assets.
yes, I can say, an income tax return, just because it's been submitted to the IRS doesn't always mean it's accurate. So it's always good to look at it and see if perhaps something's been overlooked. And I know you're great at that. Are there any specific pitfalls or tips that clients should be aware of? Like if they don't have a benefit of a financial advisor of yourself, or, when they're trying to divide assets in a divorce?
Yeah, so I would say that the one thing that I see a lot of is that the if we have a spouse who maybe doesn't make as much money or maybe is a stay-at-home spouse and they really want the house because maybe there's kids, that can maybe not be the best option financially because now they have a large house that maybe they can't afford if the alimony goes away. So that would be something that I would just have a discussion with that client and maybe just consider when alimony goes away, or if your situation changes, how would you afford those payments, or even the upkeep in the house, right? Because that can be very expensive, as well as the taxes. And then just, maybe not taking, just preparing for retirement, right? Thinking longer term. So this is maybe money that has to last you for a lifetime. And so how do you go about doing that? Some different rules around Social Security and your ability to claim on a spouse who you've been married to for 10 years. So sometimes people come in year 9 and they haven't claimed on their spouse, right? You have to be married 10 years. And so I might say you might want to consider this. So there's just so much going on, underlying laws and laws that have changed over time that you really, I would suggest everybody, and you can, for a couple $100 have somebody look at your situation and tell you if that makes sense or not, and just kind of point you in the right direction. So
And you have to keep in mind, in a divorce case where there are kids, you're looking at spousal support, you're looking at child support. It's not only division of property, so it can seem overwhelming, but
yes,
Lori you can focus on that one specific issue and make sure nothing's missed in that.
yeah.
And because it affects all the other issues really as well. And so, do you usually assist one spouse, or can you assist both spouses in divorce cases?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I can do it either way. If I'm assisting both spouses, I am a fiduciary, so I couldn't strategize with one spouse over the other. I would have to share the information with both spouses. So it's a little bit different of a relationship, but if it's amicable and they're going through mediation, that makes sense. A lot of times somebody's coming to me and they're getting a divorce and they want my assistance in that process. I think going back to your other situation where it's not division of assets, but you made a good point at the beginning of the podcast is, um, do you take it as monthly income or do you take a larger piece of an asset, which may be a better solution if you don't want to have contact with that individual any longer, or if you worry that that person's maybe not going to pay monthly. So sometimes we can do some problem solving or potential problem solving up front.
Yeah, you've always been good about coming up with creative solutions depending on the needs or wants of one or both parties. Because there's just a lot of options out there. And sometimes,
Right.
like, if you're not financially savvy, you may not think about it. And so that's
Yeah.
where you come in, you can bring that up.
Well,
So,
and I a lot of times something might be important to one party, and that's fine, right? We can say, okay, well, if it's really important for you to have A, then we can work around that and we'll take this. And it may be mutually beneficial hopefully for both parties.
And then so you can assist during the divorce, and then after the divorce, what services can you provide? Is that where the wealth planning comes in?
Exactly. It's just a continuation of what we've done. Now you have the assets, or the individual has the assets, and we would start the process of either managing them, consolidating them, meeting with the client on a regular basis. So then they would be a client of Kaizen's. And then again, we're just an advocate. We're the CFO, of their finance. Our goal is to help them optimize their wealth and make great financial decisions.
And I know
So
you've also helped in terms of post-divorce, like budgeting or getting income to meet expenses. Like I've heard you advise certain clients, you can sell this amount of investments if you need this amount of income to meet your expenses each month, and to plan for
yeah,
that so that they have this consistent income stream coming
yeah,
in.
exactly. So that's a lot of what we do with retirees, or people that are pulling money from their investments to meet their monthly budget. So we would set up a plan, and then we would just deposit that money directly into their bank account. And then we revisit that, as their situation changes, at least annually. So anything that they need, we're just trying to make their lives run smoothly so they don't have to worry about their finances, right? They're going to check in, they're going to talk to us, they're going to update us what's going on. We're going to ask for your tax return every year, because we're going to be strategic and minimizing your taxes and review what the CPA did. But we just don't want you to have to worry about your money, right? We want you focusing on raising your kids, enjoying your family, working, enjoying your friends. So you're just outsourcing that to us. But on that same vein, you have complete transparency, and we're available anytime if you have a question regarding anything.
And I know you are, because I know you're responding even when you're out of the office or on vacation.
Sure.
So you
Yeah.
definitely are
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
available.
I always say that's a luxury, right? That's a luxury that we can take vacations and still be able to serve our clients.
Well, Laurie, thank you so much for sharing such great information today. I want to put your information up should anybody want to contact you. And my information is up there as well. And your email, your phone number, and your office is located in Kirkland, is that right?
That's correct. And we do a lot over Zoom. So we always invite people into our office, but if they can't get in for whatever reason, we can always host a Zoom call or a phone call as well.
And then my information is up there as well. Should you have need legal assistance in a divorce or a family law matter, you can contact myself or the other attorneys in our family law group. So thanks again, Laurie.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, Lisa.